Today's video is a review and swatches on the entire Too Faced Sweet Peach collection. So if you watched last week's video, you would have seen me haul this already and you would have seen me cry because I'm just so excited to have all these goodies and I just feel so grateful. So I was very generously gifted the Sweet Peach collection by Too Faced and I'm super excited to swatch everything and share my thoughts and opinions on the range with you guys. So if that sounds like something that would interest you, then just simply keep on watching and I'll get right on into it. Let's start off with the Too Faced Sweet Peach eyeshadow palette. Now before I get into it, I do need to quickly apologize. I don't actually have any eyeshadow on my lids today because I had my brows waxed yesterday and for some reason some skin seems to have come off my brows along with the actual hair, which has never happened to me before. I've been having my eyebrows waxed for like 12 months and that's really unusual. I haven't changed skincare products or anything like that, so I don't know why it happened, but it's quite stingy and I didn't want to put any eyeshadow over the top of it because I guarantee you it wouldn't have blended over the top of those sort of fleshy missing bits of skin. So I'm so sorry about that because I do usually like to include a bit of a demo using the actual products in my reviews, but for today there's just going to be live swatches of this palette. But I am going to do a Too Faced full face makeup tutorial really soon and I will definitely be using this palette, so you will see it in action soon. But without further ado, I'm going to get into actually talking about this particular palette. Now I'm going to admit that when it first was released I actually had no intention of buying this palette because based off pictures I just didn't think I would love the shades in this particular one, and then now that I have it I'm so glad that I do because I would have seriously been missing out and never even realized because the shadows in this palette are so incredibly creamy and blendable and the shimmers have beautiful pigment payoff, as do all the mattes, and I'm just so incredibly impressed with every single shade in this palette. They're all very consistent. I find sometimes with large palettes with this amount of shadows in them you usually end up having sort of some hit and miss shades, but with this particular palette there is no misses. Every single shade is incredibly beautiful and they all swatched so lovely, and I'm going to say this is the best eyeshadow palette on the market in the Too Faced range. So if you were going to buy any eyeshadow palette, this is my #1 pick. That's how much I love it. So I'm super glad I actually managed to get my hands on it because like I said, I wasn't going to buy it myself just because in pictures I wasn't that excited about the shades, but now I have it. I'm so excited about it. The shades are beautiful. You can really get a really nice mix of everyday makeup looks, and also you have some purples and of course the peachy tones. So super versatile, and of course it smells incredible. All the entire range is peach infused scents and it is just incredibly delicious smelling. Some people have said they found it a little bit sickly. I personally haven't. I think it's a really beautiful fragrance. It's a really beautiful fragrance and it doesn't bother me whatsoever, but I just love this palette and I'm going to get straight into the actual live swatches now for you guys so you can see how they swatch with finger swatches. Now of course when you swatch with a brush they won't be quite as pigmented, but like I said, all of these shadows have great color payoff and they're all incredibly buttery and very blendable, and definitely my favorite eyeshadow palette out of the entire Too Faced range.
Let's have a bit of fun till I downfall. My love, if you feel like I do right now, don't say you're on the run to the other side. My love,
So next up we have the Sweet Peach Glow palette. Now this is a highlight, blusher and bronzer palette. As you can see, you've got all 3 shades there. I'm going to start off by talking about the bronzer because this is probably the one shade out of the entire collection that was a little bit disappointing. Although it does work for me, I can definitely see it being a product that not everyone is going to be able to use. So it is a very fair bronzer. So if you're super light, then it'll work perfectly for you. And if you get up to about my skin tone, which is kind of like light medium, it really is just a bronze topper. I would not wear this by itself, not unless you personally liked a very subtle bronze. It just isn't quite dark enough. However, I do like it as a bronze topper. So because it has a little bit of iridescence to it, I find products like that really help to create the illusion of super flawless skin. So what I like to do is go in with my Chocolate Soleil medium deep bronzer first to really chisel out my face and bronze it up, and then I like to top it with this particular one because I just feel like it really blends it out beautifully and gives it like a little bit more of a seamless look, which I do the same with actually this particular one from Too Faced as well, which is called the Baked Luminous Glow Bronzer. So I never use this by itself either. I use it as a bronze topper, and I feel like they both sort of have the same effect. They just seem to really make your actual bronzer and skin look a little bit more airbrushed. So it's definitely something I'm going to continue to use, and I'm sure I'll eventually hit pan on it. But as a bronzer on its own, it is not my favorite. It is just not quite dark enough. And if you're any sort of darker than me, then I feel like that shade will just be useless for your skin tone. And then you have the peachy toned blush in the middle. This is a beautiful, perfect peach shade. It has a very slight iridescence in it, I believe. It's not totally matte. However, the iridescence in it is very subtle. The Papa Don't Preach one definitely has more shimmer in it than this. It is a very beautiful, finely milled powder as well, so it glides on the cheeks ever so perfectly, and I am wearing it on my cheeks today, of course. It is one of my favorite blush shades, actually, definitely hands down in my collection now. I love a good peachy toned blush. That is my favorite type of blush to wear, so that is definitely going to get a workout in my collection, and I do really like this peach shade. It's just like the right amount of peach. It's not too peachy. And then you have the highlight shade. Now this highlight shade is sort of like a creamy base with a peach reflect. So it looks incredibly gorgeous on the skin. I don't know if you're able to see it on my cheekbones in this light, just because I don't have a direct light on my face at the moment, but it is so beautiful and very buildable. So you can either just go sort of one brush across your cheekbones and it'll be more of a subtle highlight, or if you continue to like layer it or use a Fix Plus with it, it'll intensify the shade. But it is just so beautiful. I love the fact that it has that creamy base to it as well as the peach reflect, that it's not just like a straight up peach line down your face, because I think creamy highlights for my skin tone particularly are just a really beautiful base color. So I think the biggest con for this palette is if you're much darker than me in complexion, I just don't know how much you're gonna love these shades. I feel like it is definitely more geared to light to medium complexions. So I'd love to know in the comment section, no matter what your skin tone is, what your thoughts and opinions are on the range and how it works with your skin tone. So please do let me know below, because I know whenever I watch other people's reviews, I always check the comment section to see what other people are saying, and I always find that super helpful because it's nice to get varying opinions and also opinions from different skin tones. So please do let me know below so we can help some of our online fam out if they're looking at buying this too. So next up we have the Papa Don't Peach palette. Now this is a pinkish tone blush. However, I found it to be more of like a pinky brown tone blush, which for me personally is definitely more of a preference. I don't like wearing super pink blushes. I prefer either a peach or a more pink neutral sort of shade. So the fact it's kind of like a brownish base pink is beautiful. Now when I swatched it, it looks quite pink on my arm, I think. Anyway, in person it did, but on the cheeks it definitely comes off a much more browny pink. So it's a super nice shade. It's exact same formulation as the previous blush, except I think it has a little bit more of a sheen to it. Like when I swatched it and looked at it on my arm, it just looked a little bit more sort of reflecty compared to the peach one. I could be wrong, but I just felt like in person that's what I saw. And then quickly before I actually jump into lip swatches, the packaging on these products are a tin packaging just like the traditional chocolate bar palettes. So even the blush and the little face palette are all in that same tin packaging, which I personally really like. I think it's just very sturdy, and I just feel like my makeup products are a little bit more safer than, let's say, if they were in a cardboard package. However, I will say that because it is tin, it does make the palettes much heavier than if it was a cardboard package. So still fine for traveling because they're quite compact. They just have a little bit of weight to them. So when you pick it up, like especially this eyeshadow palette, like it is very weighty, but that's half just because of the actual tin packaging. But I personally really like it. So in the collection, you get 8 different shades in their lip gloss range, and it is a peach oil infused creamy lip gloss that smells and tastes like freshly picked peaches. So they contain peach oil, coconut oil, and vitamin E, which helps to soften and moisturize the lips. And honestly guys, I 110% agree with that claim, because these moisturize my lips better than like my Burt's Bees lip balm. That's how incredible these are. I put them on, and first time wearing it I was like, oh, hands down, fecking love these. These are amazing. They're great quality. The packaging is the cutest. On the top of the lid you have like a little picture of a peach. It is just the sweetest thing ever, and the colors are so gorgeous. If you like pink and peach tones, and if you're a lip gloss gal, then you need them all. I'm telling you now, they are incredible. I love the fact that the applicator is just like a normal sponge doe foot applicator rather than a brush. I much prefer these than, let's say, the brushes that come in the Kylie Cosmetics glosses. These are just so much better. So the first shade I'm going to be swatching is called Peach Fuzz, and it is more of a nudie shade, and it's what I've actually had on throughout the entirety of the video today. And then next up we have Papa Don't Peach, which is what I was wearing in last week's video, and it is more of a darker nude shade. So next up I'll be using Peachsicle. Ooh, why can't I say that? Oh my god, I can't say popsicle, but Peachsicle. I can't really say it properly, that's so weird, but anyway. It's like a really light peach tone gloss. And then next up I'll be putting on Pure Peach, which to me is more of like a hot pink sort of peach. I guess we'll see when I put it on my lips. I haven't tried this one on. Or maybe more of like a fluorescent peach is a better description. Yeah, a fluorescent peach. And then next up we have Peach Tease, which is much more of a deeper peach shade. Yeah, like a deeper pinky peach. And then we have Peach Belize, which is more of a baby pink shade. And then we have the shade Tickle Me Peach, which is like a red gloss. I'm very curious to see what this one looks like on. And then last we have Poppin' Peach, which is like an orange peach tone gloss. I'm excited to try this one on too. So that is all 8 of the lip gloss shades swatched, and as you can see in the swatches, they're just a really beautiful wash of color across the lips, and they're just so incredibly nourishing. I'm absolutely obsessed. I love them. I actually love the entire range. Like I said in the start of the video, the only real con is with the Glow palette, and that just being the fact that it's probably not very versatile for darker complexions, but I still actually love the palette for myself personally because it works well on my complexion is what I was trying to say, because it works well on my complexion. But overall, I absolutely love everything. I would highly recommend it, and I'd love to know your thoughts and opinions too. So I did kind of cruise through today's reviews pretty quickly just because there's so much to get through. So if there's anything I missed and you have any particular questions, just simply comment them below and I'll get back to you. I'll also leave some more details in the description box regarding pricing and some links and everything as well, so be sure to check that out. And a quick note for my Australian fam, the Sweet Peach collection will be available from Mecca Maxima as of the 31st of January. For my US based audience, it is already obviously available on toofaced.com and I believe in some Sephora's, and it's depending on where else you are in the world. You'll just have to check with whoever stocks Too Faced products as to when the products will be available, because I believe this is a permanent line now. It's not a temporary line as far as I'm aware, it's an actual permanent line. So if your country sells Too Faced somewhere, you will definitely be getting it at some point in time. So that is it. I'm going to stop rambling now. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Please do give it a big thumbs up for me if you did. Leave me some comments because you guys know I love having a chat to you all. And of course, subscribe if you are a new face, and I'll be talking to you really soon. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.
Dripping lights paint the sky.